Let's do this. Let's remove 5 key ingredients from the most popular niche fragrance in the world, re-release the fragrance in a different format, presentation, and glossy bottle, and expect it to be better than the original.
This had better be good!
Is that the case when it comes to Creed Aventus Absolu? And is it truly better than the original, or in this case, the 10th anniversary? Side-by-side comparison times. Roll map music so we can truly check if the two Creed kings match up, or is one better than the other?
We're all alone in the club. Yeah, there's some friends from the south side. In case you cared, out of all your friends, I wanna be
Listen, morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. Finally got my pause on Creed Absolu Aventus. Now, I've done already a review or first impressions because I had gotten a sample. And spoiler alert, if you haven't watched that video, you can go ahead and watch that video. But I've already said that based off of that sample, I personally feel that the Absolute version would be a better cop than the original, in my opinion.
You're going down, Homer. I'm gonna fool you.
You talk better than you fool.
Now, I'm saying the original, this is the 10th anniversary, it has a little bit more depth, but it's not drastically different by any stretch of the imagination. But the Absolute definitely is in my eyes. So this is more so like, is this gonna be a duplicate 𝗙𝐾𝐽𝐾𝐽? Or if I don't have Aventus and I really want one, regardless of all the clones and all the interpretation and all the stories and all the crap, if I still wanna get an Aventus, which one should I personally get? Now, I got it off a sample. Did my initial off a sample, but samples could be different. We don't know what happened. If it was truly a sample, we don't know. It can go so many ways, so why not do it from the horse's mouth and do a true side-by-side interpretation? This isn't gonna be a long video because I know in my head, based off that sample, that Absolute would be the option that I would go for. But I wanna do it right now, arm to arm, full opening to dry down, and we'll see side-by-side comparison which one of these is the true champ currently in 2024 before they come out with an Absolute Oud version, which I wouldn't put it past them.
Don't you think that after all these years, my time has come?
All right, so what I'm gonna do is on the watch hand, I'm gonna go with the Creed original 10th anniversary, or 10th anniversary, not original, but the original formulation. And on the non-watch hand, I'm gonna go with the new Absolute. All right, so we're gonna give this a true opening smell, mid smell, and dry down smell, which, I mean, it's gonna be uncomplicated, right? They removed 5 main notes from the Absolute concentration, which happen to be apple, pineapple, which is crazy, oak moss, ambroxan, and cedar. So removing those 5 monster ingredients, I mean, removing essentially, according to the note breakdown of Fragrantica, removing the apple and pineapple from Creed Aventus. Like, that's crazy, right? So let's do a side-by-side comparison to see what kind of drastic changes we got between these fragrances. Original, still what we recognize. You get the pineapple, you get the apple, you get all the oak moss, you get that citrusy, slightly lemon pledgy kind of vibe that people compare it to, but it's Aventus, right? Let's go to Absolute. The Absolute for me is a little bit better. Now, the Absolute version has citron, I believe, and a bumped up cinnamon vibe, which you absolutely get off the skin. And it definitely adds not only a sexy element, but also kind of a holiday-ish type vibe energy. As cinnamon for me kind of just brings that back. If it's not a gourmand type of energy, like edible, it adds a little bit of like a holiday Christmas cheer type vibe. Something as simple as that citron, or that sweet, sour citric component with that puff of cinnamon and a really nice amount of ginger in this Absolute version, for me, stands out and makes it a refreshing take on a formula that absolutely works. And going back to the original, it's starting to smell a little bit tart, a little bit mossy, a little bit earthy, a little bit dirty, and I start to really see how that lemon pledge is cleaning up the dirty component of this ultra popular niche King of Kings.
I'm the king of the world!
But in this case, I feel like the king is getting thrown by the flanker.
Say my name.
Now, if you do a side-by-side comparison, the differences are noticeable, particularly off my skin. Now, the Absolute is just smoother, silky, a little bit less sharp on the nostrils. It still has the DNA of the popular Aventus, but this has a bit of refinement to it, a little bit of a extra classy element to this joint that makes it that much more better. It's, you took the DNA, you removed what you thought was maybe off-putting, maybe what you thought was a little grimy and dingy, you added a little bit of a cinnamon flair, which is kind of like a Middle Eastern vibe, just a little puff of cinnamon. You threw a little jengibre in there, some ginger action in there, and now you're taking that formula, reworking it just a little bit to give it this extra sauce, that extra flow, and that flow really played off for them, in my personal opinion. Now, it is a pricey fragrance, but you should know that already by Creed standards.
Goddamn right.
So luckily this is already on the gray market. I'll put a link in the description. You can use my promo code, potentially save a little bit of bread on this joint, because a lot of gray market carriers are gonna start having this joint already in their repertoire, so you can already avoid paying that full retail price. For me, the Absolu is way more addictive, way more enjoyable than the 10th anniversary or original Aventus DNA. At this point off my skin, a little bit kind of, good, expected. I could be going through that, oh, this is a new toy and that new toy smells good, but it's still Aventus DNA. It's not blowing my nuts off like, oh my God, this is crazy. We're not doing that.
I mean, what were you expecting?
We're doing a straight up comparison. One is better than the other. And it's really that simple. In my personal opinion, based off my nose palette, how these fragrances smell off of my skin, I personally, if I didn't have any Aventus in my collection and I absolutely needed an original Aventus, I personally would go 100% with the Absolu over the original. With the Absolu, I think you get a nice level of refinement. You still get that nose, that sillage bubble that people are gonna be like, oh, that's Aventus, for the ones who know.
I can smell it. I can smell it.
It's like getting a chicken parmesan at your local pizza spot versus like quality Italian in Midtown Manhattan. Yeah, it's a chicken parm. It's chicken, cheese, sauce, marinade, whatever you wanna call it, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same.
Wait a minute. Somebody's not laughing here.
So keeping it short, sweet, and to the point, Absolu kicks Aventus Original's ass. That's my personal opinion. I would go this one. I would wear this one more until I get tired of it, and then all the clone houses are gonna start copying this joint and possibly making it better for a limited time. But in having conversation with people, some people like to have the Creed name. They wanna have it on their mantle. Anybody comes over and it's visual. They wanna say that they have Creed because brand recognition is important to a lot of us. So therefore, in my opinion, again, Absolu versus the original. But if you have the opportunity to test them out, highly recommend you do so. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. I'll put a link in the description. Shout out to my partners Max Aroma for sponsoring today's video. Try to save a little bit of bread if you're gonna go the Absolute version or even the original if you're just the traditionalist, and let me know which one tickles your booty. I see y'all snitches next time. You know who it is. Biggest in the cat. Smooth.
Don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.